And Vatas are incredibly sensitive, so they feel terrible just because they have a slight little wind in the stomach. And so, because of their immense sensitivity and their feelings of feeling awful with little things, they tend to make corrections very quickly. And in that way, they're blessed in that they more quickly can get back to balance. Whereas Kappa doesn't notice until it's far too late, and then it takes them a long time to get back to balance. Yeah, well,
I just want to read something there before I lose it, because it's very nice. It's from Helen O'Donovan. She said, I just to say, I did the yoga last night. It was amazing at every level, physical, spiritual, and emotional. Thank you so much, Dr. Ritvinder. I wasn't on that class last night, but that's great, Raj. So there's nice big praise for you there. We do yoga classes every Wednesday night and every Saturday at 11, Wednesday at 11, Wednesday at 7, and Saturday at 11. And we do breathing exercises, we do relaxation, we do some guided meditation, we do exercises for the eye. I mean, it's just an unbelievable class, really. It goes on for, I mean, you can leave at any time, but it generally goes on for well over an hour and a half, you know. So I actually won't be doing this. I normally take the Saturday class. I won't be doing it this Saturday because I'm doing that course. So Dr. Rajvinder is going to take the class on Saturday as well. So definitely people should put that in their routine. You should be doing that twice a week or once a week, because an awful lot of the things we talk about in these courses are dealt with in the yoga class. And I don't, if you've never done yoga before and you think it's not for you, or you won't be able to do it or anything like that, just get all of those ideas out of your head. There's people have the wrong idea about yoga. Yoga is for everybody. It's for absolutely everybody. I noticed one lady comes on, she doesn't do any of the exercises, because she must have she's not able to do the exercises or whatever, but she does all the breathing exercises, and she does the eye exercises, and she does the pranayama and the guided meditation, you know. So you can do that as well, but yoga's for everybody. So don't worry about how inflexible you are, or you've never done any of that, or you're all stiff, or you're overweight, or you're inactive, any of those things. That's the perfect time to start yoga. So every Wednesday night at 7 and every Saturday morning at 11. So there's another person. Yes, an amazing class last night. From Catherine in the stall.
No, will you let Naheed in?
I will, yeah. Truly fabulous yoga class. So everyone's doing this promotion for me. I done one Saturday, had 750. Amazing. Yeah, I will, Don. Just yeah. Hi, Naheed.
Hi, Noel. Thank you, Dr. Brennan.
Hello, Naheed.
Would you like to be able to hear your pearls of wisdom?
Oh, thank you.
It's midnight there. How are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm good. It's 12 o'clock.
Yeah. We'll only hold you for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
1:30.
And then I can go back to sleep.
You're a saint.
I am a
saint. A saint. You're very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see.
I enjoy this course. That's why I join every night.
Lovely. You enjoy giving out the knowledge. It's your dharma. Giving out knowledge.
Yes, it's my dharma.
And it's Rajvinder's dharma. That's why you're so good at it. And it's Noel's dharma, and it's Noel's dharma to give us a lot of stick to keep us in line.
Someone has to keep you all going. You can't be sitting at home with all that knowledge doing nothing with it, you know. You got to get it out there. So that's my dharma, is to get you working.
Honest to God, and we won't finish this course, and we don't even have a flipping week off. We're off into the next one.
You can't have a week off, Dr. Brennan. People out there need this knowledge, you know. We don't have that much time we're trying to change the world here, you know. It's a full-time job.
I know. I thought after 35 years I could take it easy.
No, you're only getting started, Dr. Brennan. That was only training. Oh, no. Record, please. I think I am recording. Yeah.
We won't let Naheed sleep, and we won't let you retire.
That's it. Well, I did speak to a very, very wise, very, very truly profound Ayurvedic doctor in India, mentor. And I said, oh, I'm thinking of retiring. And he looked at me very crossly. He looked through me and he says, Ayurvedic doctors never retire.
Yeah, but sure, age comes with wisdom. That's the whole thing. Yeah, or wisdom comes with age. I mean, yeah, so that's the whole thing. No, you can't retire. Sure, what would you be doing? Going swimming?
Well, it is gas really. I only think I'm beginning to understand Ayurveda at this stage.
Don't
know.
say that. If you wouldn't hang up. Okay, let's see how we're doing. We've 183 on the call, so we're getting up there now, you know. So as I said, we are going to be talking about Kapha tonight. So I think we'll go ahead. I mean, people that are coming in late, they can pick up on it. Are we happy to go ahead, everybody?
Just to remind people, because since you spoke, another 90 have come in. This to say that this is a recording of the change of season talk we gave at the beginning of the Kapha season. So I go back over a lot that I've already done, and only towards the end of the talk do I start focusing on Kapha. So just don't feel that you're, that this is the wrong talk or something. Just flow with it. It's nice to be reminded of the basics.
Yeah, it starts off general, but then we get specifically on the Kapha. Okay, so we'll go ahead and share the screen. Here we go. Oh, okay. Will you be able to share screen? Okay.
For all of us.
You will now. Yeah, you will.
On the ball. Okay, thank you, Noel. And good evening, everybody. By way of introduction, let me just give the whole overview of the field of Ayurveda. It's a vast and wonderful knowledge that is always worth a recap and reminding ourselves just how deep, how profound, how holistic this great perspective and what wisdom it can give us in terms of our own well-being and in terms of us taking care of our family and friends. So when we think about medicine, we see a field of knowledge that is reductionist, which means it divides everything down into its components parts and then divides those into their components parts, and it goes on. And the idea behind it is that when you understand all the parts, you have it all sussed. And unfortunately, that has become a bit of a cul-de-sac for medicine because there's increasing incidence of many chronic diseases, heart disease, asthma, allergies, diabetes, obesity, ADHD, dementia, just increasing dramatically the incidence of these over the last 5 decades, and medicine hasn't made any progress with these chronic illnesses. Unfortunately, the medicines that have emerged are at most symptomatic for these sort of conditions. And that is because of a failure of medicine to look at the whole. Now, for example, if you take the medical approach to nutrition, you will find that it's divided into vitamins and minerals and calories, and all this advice to take so much of a vitamin and so much of a mineral is based on the fact that will have an effect in the body. But it's incomprehensible, the effects that these vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats have in our diet. For example, when you take food, you take thousands, tens of thousands of ingredients. They're met by tens of thousands of chemicals in our gut in the process of digestion. They're absorbed and meet innumerable possible processes in the body. And you cannot know what any one chemical is going to do because each chemical and its interactions affect all the other chemicals, and the body functions as a whole, and the body is an ecosystem. And this ecosystem of the body has to survive in a huge ecosystem of our environment. And that's why it's so wonderful to have a science like Ayurveda, which deals not just with the reductionist perspective on the parts, but it has the perspective of the whole. And then, what is the whole? Well, the whole universe, according to physics, is derived not merely from the material, but the material ultimately is energy. And there are fundamental fields of energy, according to the most advanced of our science, physics, which has sort of been more foremost in understanding more fundamental levels of our existence. The energies are understood ultimately to be arising from fundamental fields, and there are basically three, if you like, three aspects of very fine particles in field. There's bosons, fermions, and the gauge symmetry at the basis of quantum physics. And beyond that, there are 5 spin particles. And then beyond that, we come to one glorified, unified field. In other words, according to physics, there's one fundamental source of everything in the universe. And that includes you. That fundamental source gives rise to all of our physiologies, as well as the solar system and the galaxies. One fundamental source, which Ayurveda, thousands of years ago, described with incredible clarity in terms of 5, not spin particles, fundamental elements, they were called. Space, air, fire, water, and earth. 5 fundamental dynamics, particles, which we could equate because they're so similar to the quantum physics concept with the 5 spin particles. In the same sense, those 5 elements in Ayurveda gives rise to 3 fundamental dynamics. Ayurveda calls it Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And a quantum field theorist has done the thesis and said this descriptions from Ayurveda and quantum physics are so alike that it could not possibly have happened by chance. Basically, he does a probability analysis on it. So the reality is that Ayurveda is describing what physics is now coming to describe, except physics has dealt only with the objective world out there. And physics and the sciences fail to understand the one who's observing all of this. What is consciousness? There's no clear explanation within the modern sciences. However, there is a possibility for you, since you are ultimately that field, to allow the mind to quieten. And this is what the great scientists in ancient times were able to do, to observe the stilling, quietening, settling. And when the activity settles and the mind has quietened, the consciousness reaches a point where it transcends and is that wholeness, is that unbounded, absolute, eternal, immortal being outside the realm of space and time, and you just are. That serene and blessed mood in which the affections gently lead us on until the breath of this corporeal frame and even the motion of our human blood, we rest suspended and become a sleeping body and become a living soul. While with the eye of insight made lively, we see into the life of things. This is Wordsworth in Tintern Abbey. People with clear perspective experience this. The ancient scientists of Ayurveda described it so perfectly we can use it for our help, because that source is giving rise to the whole universe. It's giving rise to your physiology. All the dynamics, all the organizing principles, all the laws of nature that structure the universe are within you, structuring your physiology. And that's why you're using me, you're using Noel, you're using Rajvinder, Naheed, to remind you, to help you to recognize what you know you should be doing. That's our purpose here with Ayurveda. So to share my screen with you, this is what I'm talking about. At the basis is consciousness, and then we have our 5 senses. And through the senses, we experience everything that we experience in life. If you couldn't hear, see, smell, taste, and touch, you're dead. It's because of these senses you experience your thoughts, your emotions, you feel your emotions, you have your insights. And in the same way, then, when you project your awareness outwards, you see the universe around you. So the senses are fundamental, and they give rise to 5 fundamental dynamics within us. These interact, space and air, to become a dynamics called Vata. Fire element with a little bit of water become Pitta, and then there's a dynamics of Kapha. So Vata, Pitta, and Kapha are 3 fundamental processes that you use when you wish to create and construct and govern and become your body. This is how you do it. That field of consciousness starts to move, giving rise to a dynamics of movement, which is called Vata. That field of consciousness next has to transform, and transforms into your feelings and into your thoughts and your thought structure. That process of transformation is Pitta. And then there's an integrating influence that holds it all together as physical structure, and that's Kapha. And these are associated with a set of qualities. That is light, quick, moving, dry, cold, rough, irregular qualities, whereas Pitta, more hot, sharp, light fluids, slightly oily, and Kapha is heavy, slow, stable, cold, oily, soft. And according to your nature, in terms of these 3, you could be more Vata or more Pitta or more Kapha or have a combination. Then according to that nature, you will express more of these qualities. Like the lady on the top left, she's more light, quick, moving, dry, cold, rough. She'll be more sensitive, refined, artistic, more quick moving, quick ticking, quick, very feeling the cold, with perhaps a tendency to dry hair or rough skin. So these qualities would be seen more in that sort of an individual, whereas the man down in the left bottom corner, he's more Pitta, hot, with a very sharp mind, sharp gaze, sharp appetite. He's light, but not as light as Vata. And because he's feeling so hot, he loves the cold. He's out there skiing. And whereas the Kapha person, more heavy, slow, stable, so grounded, practical, easygoing. Manyan is the attitude to life. And so each of us have our own qualities, and each of us therefore have different needs in terms of the qualities that bring us balance, the qualities in food, in lifestyle, in diet. And that's the interesting thing about Ayurveda, because when we focus on the balance, when we get Vata and Pitta and Kapha balanced, we are at our best. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, we are awake, alive, and joyful. And that is our purpose. When Vata is balanced, the old texts from whom we take so much wisdom of Ayurveda, the old texts describe Vata in its normal state reflects enthusiasm, inspiration and expiration. It's what we take in as well as what we give out, is all moved by Vata. Movements generally by Vata, normal metabolic transformation of tissues, proper elimination of excreta. This is a balanced Vata. Pitta, balanced, gives good vision, good digestion, normal temperature, normal hunger and thirst, softness in the body, luster, happiness, and intelligence. Kapha in the body, when it's normal, it gives good structure, good unctuousness or lubrication, binding, firmness, steadiness. It gives heaviness, it gives potency and virility, it gives strength, forbearance, restraint, patience, absence of greed. So tonight we're really focusing a little bit more on the balancing of Kapha, and who of all of you does not want your Kapha balanced, to have that strength and forbearance and patience and restraint. So these all have their influence at particular times as well. And Kapha seems to be at the start of everything. The first hour after a meal, start of digestion, you feel a bit sluggish and slow down and heavy, and that's Kapha influence, that time. In the same way, the start of the day and the start of the night, from 6 until 10 in the morning, a little bit dull, heavy, this is Kapha time. In the evening, you're quieting down, getting more settled again. That's kapha time again from 6 until 10 at night. The start of the month for a lady during her menstrual phase of life, the start of the month when the womb is growing, and that's the first half of the monthly cycle is kapha. The start of the year, and this is where we're interested today. The start of the year from December to May is kapha time of the year. We want to know how to keep that balanced. What are the qualities to integrate now to keep at our best? And at the start of life, for the first 21 years, that's a kapha time of life. Ultimately, we take everything on board, all our experiences, all our sight senses, all that we take in through the senses, all that we take in through the air we breathe, through the food we eat, and all, if we are balanced, are transformed in the body to create ultimately a finest essence of all the body tissues called ojas, which when we are so healthy is to create this in an ongoing fashion. We have no worries about coronavirus. Corona will get its comeuppance if it comes near us, because ojas maintains natural resistance and immunity. It's located in the heart and circulates. It fights aging, decay, and disease. It gives strength, power, and natural resistance. It's a superfine biological substance. It's actually a substance in the body that is a finest essence of all we've transformed. And it's going to depend on our lifestyle, on our stress, on trauma, and the quality of relationships. And that's why Ayurveda takes a very holistic perspective on all the different potentialities in our lives, whereby we can create health and get on with enjoying ourselves. And I'll hand you back to Noel, who is full of ojas.
Okay, Dr. Brennan, that's fantastic because it gave a great overview of actually the three doshas there. So it was a very good, because, you know, as Dr. Brennan said, consciousness manifests itself into 5 basic elements, and they are earth, air, fire, water, space. So everything in the manifest universe is created of these things. There's nothing that's not made from earth, air, fire, water, and space. In the manifest, not the unmanifest universe, but in the manifest universe. And they go together in different qualities in different people, and they form Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So that was a brilliant overview. I really like the slides and the pictures of the people. You could see just by looking at them the difference between them, and then we know by looking at the people around us, we can see Vata people, we can see Pitta people, and we can see Kapha people. So we know now from that as you say, Kapha is the start of everything, and it's certainly for the start of the year, and this is the start of the year. So we're going to hand over to Dr. Naheed. I'll just unmute Dr. Naheed, and so Dr. Naheed, if you just say something.
Yes, hi.
Okay, so you're unmuted. Okay, Dr. Naheed, so you go ahead and make your presentation on Kapha.
Thank you, Noel. And Dr. Brennan just has given an idea of all the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Especially, he has gave a great emphasis on Kapha, its general function, like what time of the day and everything. And that was fantastic. So thank you, Dr. Brennan, as well. So this Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, each of them has the 5 different subtypes. So today I am going to talk about the subtype of Kapha, as we are in the Kapha season of the year. And based on the function, so this subtypes, how they have categorized these subtypes of doshas. So based on the function of a group of any doshas, it may be Pitta, Vata, and Kapha, they are subcategorized in 5 different categories. So I presume that these terms will be very new for many of you. So for that, I'm going to share my screen so that it will be easy to understand. And just give me 2 seconds.
We don't hear you. Is Noel still there? No.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there. Can you hear me? Yeah, sorry, Dr. Naheed, just hang on a second.
She's muted.
Muted me, I think. So.
No, I don't know how that happened. I didn't do it anyway, but you got muted somehow, you know. So yeah, we just, when you shared your screen and the different 5 different subdoses of kapha came up. So if you want to go back and start from there, Dr. Naheed.
Okay, no problem. So I just share my screen now. So the first subtype of kapha dosha is avalambak. So as I told previously as well, that this terminologies and this subcategories are based on the function they are doing inside the body. So avalambak means to hold and to support, and they are located mainly in the upper part of the body, in the chest part and in between the shoulder bones. As you know that kapha is the water element, and that present in our body in a fluid form. So I can correlate in the medical point of view that whatever the fluid is present inside the lungs, that's the pleural fluid and the pericardial fluids, that can be correlated with avalambak kapha. They help to maintain the strength and the stability inside the body. And the second one is kledak. So kledak means to wet, to moisten, and they are present mostly inside our stomach. So what they do is, in the first hour of digestion, they help to moisten our food, they help to liquefy our food, and they also serves as a protecting layer to our stomach, so that it can protect us from the acidic all kinds of acid which secretes in our stomach to digest the food. So if someone is suffering with ulcer or the peptic and the duodenal ulcer, so it's not only pitta which is causing this problem, it can be the problem with your kledak kapha as well. And the third one is bodhak. So bodhak means to perceive. So it's present in the tongue, and it helps in the taste perception, and it helps to maintain the proper amount of saliva secretion. So if someone is suffering with excessive salivation, or they are not able to perceive the taste, so there is some problem with their bodhak kapha, especially with this coronavirus thing. The people are not getting any taste, they are like not able to taste food or anything. So there can be a problem with the bodhak kapha on those patients. And the fourth one is tarpak. So tarpak means to nourish. So it is present inside our head. It helps to nourish all the sense organs, so all the emotional behavior, all the peace, and to learn. Everything is done by this tarpak kapha. So if someone is feeling dull, and if someone is feeling not feeling fine, they are feeling depressed, so there can be a problem with their tarpak kapha. And the last one is sleshak. So sleshak means to lubricate. So they are present inside our joints in the form of synovial fluid. So they help in the proper articulation of our joints, to keep it tight, firm, strong, and proper movement of our joints. So this is all I have to share. The next thing which I want to discuss is about the kapha disorder. So how we will know that when is the time to balance our kapha, what symptoms or the signs we experience in our body, and what health conditions. So Ayurvedic text has elaborated 20 specific type of kapha disorder. And I'll just tell you the name of the few common one which we suffer in our day-to-day life. And that can be like if you're feeling too heavy, or if you're feeling lazy, or if you're feeling drowsy, or excessive cold sensation, or maybe you're feeling excessive of sleep. And these are the kapha disorder situation. If you're suffering with indigestion and a medical condition called anorexia nervosa, that is also a kapha disorder. And the taste perception, if you're not able to perceive taste properly, if you are having excessive salivation, so these are also kapha disorder. And atherosclerosis, where there is a cholesterol get deposited clog inside the vessels, this is also a kapha disorder. If you're someone has a kind of palpitation, they frequently experience this palpitation kind of sensation when they can hear their heartbeat, this is also a kapha kind of disorder. There are some respiratory issues, like you are having cough with a lot of expectoration, it means your kapha is imbalanced. And is Noel sharing his screen?
No, I'm not.
It's happened more.
Sorry?
Scheduling made easy. I don't know what that is. Now we're back to normal.
Someone else shared a screen. I don't know what that was. Sorry, Dr. Naheed.
And if you're facing a mucus in your throat, that can be seen in conditions like post-nasal drip. So these are kapha situations. So when you're experiencing all these situations, all these problems, health conditions, then you can opt to balance your kapha, which Dr. Rajvinder will later give an idea how you can do that with the diet, lifestyle, and with herbs as well. And there are some skin condition like urticarial rash and the pale skin. So the next time when you find yourself that you are pale, that's not always because you're anemic. That can be a disorder of kapha as well. And the most important problem which we face very commonly in Ireland in this season is hay fever. So hay fever is nothing but the allergic rhinitis, in which any antigens or maybe any causative factor which are making you more sensitive, and you are having symptoms like runny nose, cough, cold, fever, and itchy eyes, conjunctivitis kind of thing, then you are like dealing with hay fever kind of condition. So you need to strengthen your immunity. When the kapha season is going to start, just prepare yourself so that even if you're catching some infection, you can fight with that really easily. And now Dr. Rajvinder can give you an idea how you are going to do that with diet, lifestyle, and so many things. So thank you. This is all from my end.
Thanks very much, Dr. Naheed. So for a lot of the people, even the people who've done our Ayurveda course, there's a lot of new information there, because in the initial course we went into Vata, Pitta, Kapha, but we never went into the subtypes of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So that's your first look at those. So maybe people thought that they knew all they needed to know about Vata, Pitta, Kapha, but actually there's an awful lot more to learn about them, because they have subdoshas, and those subdoshas are located in different parts of the body, and when they go out of balance, they give rise to particular diseases and disorders. And for the new people here, some of this might seem very abstract. We talked about consciousness, and consciousness manifesting itself into the 5 elements, and then the 5 elements being described in terms of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. But just to be clear, Ayurveda is both abstract and very practical. All diseases are associated with an imbalance of Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. Dis-ease is dis-ease. The system is no longer at ease with itself. Something has gone out of balance. And as I say, all diseases are associated with these imbalances of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And Jean-Pierre said in the text there I saw, he said, it seems that a lot of the COVID thing is associated with Kapha, and most definitely there's associated with Kapha. There are big problems for people with obesity, with diabetes, and with asthmatic people as well, because this tends to attack the lungs, But, we're talking about Kapha here this evening, but we should remember that all diseases are associated with Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And now we're in this Kapha season. So if you are prone to Kapha imbalances, this is a time that you need to be a little bit careful and do things that maybe can help balance that Kapha. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Dr. Rajvinder. So Dr. Rajvinder, I'm just going to unmute you. And if you just want to say hello, Dr. Rajvinder.
Yes, hello.
Okay, so Dr. Rajvinder, as I already said, she lives in Dublin. She's been in Ireland since 2007. She's an Ayurvedic doctor. She's incredibly experienced. She has thousands of patients at this stage that come to see her. So Dr. Rajvinder, I'll hand over to you, and you can give your presentation in relation to Kapha.
Thank you, Noel. Thank you, Dr. Don, and thank you, Dr. Naheed. So wonderful contribution to Kapha. Kapha is a lovely dosha. First of all, that's what I would like to say. When I talk to Kapha people, they say, I don't like myself Kapha. No, Kapha is a very positive, lovely dosha. Kapha people are very kind, very compassionate, very gentle, wonderful, loyal friends. So sometimes kapha go a little bit out of balance. So that's what Ayurveda is here to help, how to keep kapha in balance and how to keep weight. All of these diseases Dr. Naheed was talking about, it's very easy to bring it back into balance. So I'm going to share my screen.
I'm just going to allow sharing screen again because I just switched it off. So you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, can you see it?
Yeah.
No, I need to go into the slide mode maybe.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah. Second, I'm trying to do something. Okay. So we are here to talk about the seasonal routine, the change of the season we are experiencing, and it's on the way. So the kapha time of the year is mainly December to May. So kapha actually the winter time is kapha. As we all know, the quality of the winter is heavy, cold, dull, sluggish, and so the qualities of kapha, as you listen from Dr. Brannan's presentation. So we are now moving to springtime, which is from mid-February to mid-May. So in response to the season, these doshas changes. So as in the winter with all the Christmas and all the heavy food, and so all the accumulation of kapha happen. So naturally we put up some weight and that heaviness and dullness, and we want to snuggle in. We don't want to do too much exercise because of the accumulation of kapha happening in that season. And as the kapha is moving towards the spring, is the second response of the dosha will be prakopa, and prakopa is the natural aggravation. So because of the heat building up now in the spring, as the heat start coming up, this snowman, this kapha start melting. So this melting kapha wants to come out body through the nose, through the different channels, and that's when cold, cough, flu, hay fever, asthma, all of these problems are more dominant in the springtime because kapha is trying to come out of the body and balance itself. So that's where if we are aware of this change, we just change our diet and lifestyle a little bit and help the body to let this extra kapha get out. And the third is natural pacification. So with the change of the season, our doshas, it's not only kapha, vata, pitta, and kapha within their season, they go through 3 responses. So these are the responses, sanchaya, prakopa, and prasara. So that's why the change in the diet and lifestyle help to assist these processes. And Ritucharya has a big significance, big importance in Ayurveda. So Ayurveda say 15 days before the season change, you start changing your diet and lifestyle. So the change in the season is easy on the body. So if kapha is ignored, when it is accumulating and it is aggravating, especially if at that stage we are not changing our diet and lifestyle, then it's going to manifest into form of or something else related to kapha. So springtime is the king of the seasons because a lot of growth happen in this season. So and kapha is the dosha, the element, earth element responsible for the growth. So also that's why the weight is easy to crop on in the body in the spring as well. And as the heat is rising in the environment, the digestive system goes down. So naturally, as Dr. Naheed was saying, anorexia is a problem related to kapha, the loss of interest in the food or nausea. These kinds of problems happen, and that happen as the heat is slowly rising in the environment, digestive system goes down. And in the spring and in the summer as well, digestive system is very weak. So we don't need to eat too much of food anyway. So these are some of the strategy here, how to balance it with the diet, with the lifestyle, and with the herbs. There are different treatments in Ayurveda as well. There are different modalities to deal with the imbalance, but I'm looking at these 3 different modalities of Ayurveda here. So in the diet, some of you who are old here and have done my cooking classes and have done our lectures, you know there are 6 tastes of food in the Ayurvedic nutrition. So Ayurveda say you avoid sweet, salt, and sour taste. Why? Because they're heavy taste, and kapha is heavy, and like increase like, so you don't want to increase the heavy element in your body. So you cut down on the rice and you cut down on the other heavy food in this season. And you increase pungent, bitter, and estrogen taste. Funny, interestingly, nature gave us a lot of bitters in this time of the year. Like the naturally you will see in your garden, dandelions start growing naturally, which is bitter. And a lot of bitter sprouts and bitter greens are going to be in season around the spring. So we should include more bitter, more pungent like ginger and cinnamon, those kind of spices in our diet. So we should emphasize more on the pungent, bitter, and estrogen taste-rich foods. And dry food, not very kind of fat and healthy oils in the diet. Warm food should be warm. In the kapha season, food should not be cold. No salads yet. And the light food. So food should be light in nature, like millets, quinoa, those kind of grains, lentils, and all that. And old grains are better, even though this is the harvesting time of the year. But we should avoid the new rice and new wheat because they are very heavy. They still have a lot of moisture. So that's why we should prefer the old grains, because they are more lighter than the new grains. And as much as grains, seeds, nuts, whatever you're eating, you roast them, make it lighter. And the seasonal fruits, seasonal bitters, all that I already said. And split peas are better choice of dal over the moong dal around this time of the year. So chana dal, split pea, tur dal, because they're more astringent, so they are more preferable for the people who are eating dals and all. And roasted chickpea, roasted nuts, spices in the cooking. So pungent spices like ginger, as I said, black pepper, cumin, cinnamon, all those spices are better for the kapha people for cooking around this time of the year. And no yogurt, because yogurt will be very heavy. But instead of yogurt, the wonderful drink around this time of year to enhance metabolism, to pick up the digestion, is spicy lassi. So lassi is you dilute the yogurt, like 1 tablespoon of yogurt into 1 glass of water with the spices like hingu, which is asafoetida, black salt, and trikatu. I know these terms are new for some of the people. These are the spices. You can ask in the questions later. And in the kapha time of the year, naturally, skin problem also come on the surface. So chicken pox, measles, mumps, acne, some of the boils, that kind of skin issues are more common around this time of the year. So I would recommend this wonderful herb called neem. So either you mix the quarter or half a teaspoon of neem powder with water and make a little tablets and take one of that every morning. Or it's very bitter. If you find it difficult to take, just take it with honey. So take it only for 2 weeks, and it's a great prevention to all of the skin diseases in the kapha season. And also because kapha is a heavy element, so if you're struggling with the weight problem, asthma, mucus, so the fasting is very kind of beneficial, liquid day is beneficial, and the spring is a wonderful time to do the detox. But you get in touch with your Ayurveda practitioner before you start doing any of these strategies. And then in the lifestyle, Dr. Brennan said the kapha time of the day is 6 to 10 a.m. and 6 to 10 p.m. So you better get up early before the kapha kick in the environment and start moving. So more exercise in the spring. Your body naturally have a bit more energy in the springtime because of the heat picking up and the heavy element from the body start lifting. So for that, you better get out of the bed as soon as possible. We talked about Abhyanga, the oil massage in the autumn, Vata time of the year. Kapha time of the year is more better for dry brushing, lymphatic drainage massages, or there are special gloves that you wear and doing those Garshan massage. Udavartana is you make a powder with oats and lentils, so it's kind of a dry powder that you rub on your body. So no day nap, no sleeping during the daytime for kapha people. Very bad for weight gain and all of that. And continuing doing your routine of tongue scraping. Neti is clearing your nasal passages with a special pot with this saline water. And Nasya, we talk a lot about Nasya. So that is a special oil. You put a drop of oil into your ear, each nostril to keep the infections, to keep the hay fever at bay. And for the yoga, there are a lot of chest opening yoga postures and pranayams. I cannot go in detail about which one, but most of your yogis here, so you would know. Otherwise, get in touch with if you have kapha problem, asthma, you start doing chest opening exercises. And colorful, kapha is a dull element, so you need to wear color in your house, and even for uplifting your senses, start using aroma oils. We have a wonderful kapha tea. So kapha tea is a lot of blend of the spices. So drinking 1 or 2 cups of kapha tea with honey is also very good for moving the mucus in the body and all the digestion. If you have skin problem, you can put a little pinch of this neem powder into the bath and bath with it, shower with it. And burnt sage, actually Ayurveda recommend fumigation. So burning sage and these wonderful herbs in the house, because of the dry effect of the smoke, is helpful. And also the dry sauna and the dry heat is recommended to take in for the kapha people. So quickly on the herbs, all these terms might be new. All these herbs are available on the Ayurveda website. But again, I would say consult your Ayurveda practitioner before start taking any of these. So if you have dry cough, cold, flu, in general, Sitopladi is a combination of different herbs blended together. And it's a wonderful herb for the cough and sinus and a lot of other issues related to kapha. Pipali is a long pepper. Chyawanprash we talk a lot about, wonderful immunity jam, you can say. And Manjishta is another herb to open up the lymphatic channels, because for kapha people, lymphatic system is very sluggish. And then these 2 herbs to number here is for sinus and allergies. MP16 is the nasal oil. And kapha churna and the immunity spice mix is people who are new to spices and they don't know which spice to use, how much spice to use. These are the ready-made blend of the spices to use into your cooking. Okay, and so I just want to show this colorful slide because it's very fascinating how our festivals around this time of the year are so much around this change in the season. So today is Makar Sankranti. So that colorful picture there is the festival of India that's happening today. So they do it was some places celebrated it yesterday and half of it will be going today, and that's kind of northern solstice, the change in the season. So it's a celebration, and the people naturally make a bonfire, so as the dry heat to the body, and they eat these little sweet balls. You say that's the jaggery and sesame seed, and jaggery and sesame seed is very drying for the kapha, especially the sesame. So people naturally eat that in the culture. And they fly the kites and a lot of colors, and that kind of celebrations are going on. So that tells us how our costumes and cultures are already correlated to Ayurveda. And in the April, I think in the March or April, this festival of Holi is coming, where people throw colors. And this is where people come out and have a social life, dance together. And I think that's very good for the mental, that the kapha people tend to get depressed. So the social life is very important. So these festivals are there to support that. And in Ireland, we're going to have the Easter, the growth, new life. And I know a little bit, but I think people traditionally do fasting around the Easter time, which is very much, again, correlated to Ayurveda, the fasting in the kapha time of the year. So this is the fascinating, our culture is here. If we tune in, there is so much knowledge already in the different cultures, which really is amazing. So, okay, thank you so much. I'll finish it here. So hope it's a bit more clear about kapha, and kapha is a very positive, very kind of a lovely element in the body. So thank you, back to Noel.
So Rajvinder, if you stop your share.
Yeah. Where is the thing? I lost it.
Down at security, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Or maybe I can do it from here.
Yeah, maybe you can do it. I can't find it.
Ah, yeah, I was able to do it. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, thanks very much, Dr. Rajvinder. That's very interesting. And actually, it's interesting what you said about kapha. Like, and sometimes people say, "Oh, kapha is not the great dosha," you know. But actually, kapha is a fantastic dosha. And me personally, I wish I had more kapha in me, because I'm pitta vata, and I could definitely do with some more kapha in me, because kapha grounds you. Kapha is very stabilizing, and it's also full of strength. So it gives you a lot of stability flexibility and strength. And actually, I notice a lot of very, very successful business people can be Pitta Kapha, because the Pitta gives them the drive, the ambition, the intellect, all of those things, and the Kapha gives them the stamina. Whereas I am Pitta Vata, so I have the drive and the ambition and all of that, but then I run out of steam after a certain amount of time. So that Kapha is a wonderful thing, and there's a lot of questions coming in about should everybody do these things. It's as usual with Ayurveda, it's not one size fits all. It's actual, it's your own individual nature. If you're a very Pitta person, this season, for me, this season is very nice because I love the coolness in the air and all of that. And it doesn't really, I've never had sinuses, I've never had hay fevers, I've never been overweight really, I've never had those, any of those what might be considered Kapha issues, because I'm a very, very Pitta person. I have an awful lot of Pitta in me. But people who are of a Kapha nature and people who do suffer from sinuses and do suffer from hay fever, then this information is more relevant to them, and they need to make more of those changes, particularly in relation to the detoxification, and drinking the ginger tea and drinking all those things to keep the Kapha in balance. Because as we say, as the heat comes off, the Kapha melts and then it comes out as all these different allergies and things that are there. So I think that was a really great presentation on Vata Pitta Kapha. There's some questions coming in there. So I'll just unmute Dr. Naheed. And I think all the doctors are unmuted now. So okay, great. So that was our presentation on Kapha. As you know, it was recorded. So I think some people, the last time we were emailing in about that celebration that Dr. Ritvinder mentioned, saying that wasn't on now. So it wasn't. That was recorded back in, I'm not too sure when it was, January, I think. Hi, Dr. Ritvinder, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, Dr. Brennan's disappeared and Dr. Naheed has disappeared as well. But anyway, Dr. Brennan's back. Yes. Hi, Don. You can unmute yourself.
Somebody's asking, what about the dandelion? Yes, absolutely. Dandelion is a wonderful herb. And even nettle, it's in the baby still there in the garden. You can pick some fresh baby dandelion leaves, boil them a little bit into salt water, and then blend into a puree and use it with other vegetables for cooking. Same with the nettle. Great herb for stimulating liver, open up bile channels. It's freely growing in the garden. So use it, but don't use the one once the flower come. It's not that effective. The tender leaves. Chitra, soya yogurt, because of the soya is a very kind of adulterated crop these days. Soya, corn, wheat is a third one coming up. So limit it unless you find the organic soya yogurt or you're making it at home, but it's a difficult one. So yeah, keep it low. And because of the phytoestrogen, it has some benefits, but moderation.
If you have thyroid problems, don't go for soya.
Yeah.
Kapha, Sonia pointed out that Kapha people are good in saving money. There you are now. If you want nice security, marry a Kapha person.
Actually, that's interesting. You should say that, Don, because we were doing the qualities of Kapha today on the course. And one of the things that it says about Kapha being in balance is that there's an absence of greed if Kapha in balance. So I'm presuming maybe if they're out of balance, there might be a presence of greed, because it was a funny thing. It just came up as I thought it was a bit unusual, but a Kapha imbalance, there's an absence of greed. So I imagine maybe a Kapha imbalance, there might be a little bit of extra greed there as well. So maybe if you're saving too much money, you should go and spend some of it in your friends or something like that, But
Kaphas are like elephants, so keep on grazing the grass.
They hold on to food. That's the nature of Kapha, and that's why they gradually get more and more wealthy. And as you say, their own disposition, if they're balanced, well, they're very gentle and compassionate and kind people. But if they're out of balance, they're greedy and grasping and holding.
They don't want to give stuff up. Okay, so if you recognize yourself there as being greedy, grasping and holding, so especially if you're in the UK and you're coming out of lockdown, bring all your friends out for a cup of coffee and spend some of your money there and let it go, Okay.
So Vata is out of balance. Will Pitta and Kapha be also? Tamara, you're right, really. I mean, It's a situation where there are conditions that are kapha alone, like 20 are kapha alone, I think it's 40 are pitta alone, but 80 are vata alone. The vata causes more imbalance generally, but then there's innumerable conditions of all three, and often it is vata that's pushing the others out. So yeah.
So you're getting lots of praise for your talk, Don. You're being put down here as a poet, very poetic, Dr. Brennan. Brilliant exposition, Dr. Brennan. Brilliant explanation, Dr. Brennan.
Well, thanks be to God that it was Maharishi's exhibition, what do you call it? But anyway, it was his eloquence that only like reflect, but it was a total brilliance that could bring out this knowledge for all of us in a simple way. You know, so simple. That's the
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Purnima wants you to do a special talk for her son.
Someone else there made a beautiful point, and that was that the earth is disturbed at the moment because of COVID. COVID is an indication of a disturbance on Earth. What's disturbed on Earth? Well, the guiding intelligence of Earth is humanity, which is totally disconnected and disturbed. And the solution that Nico was offering was to do TM, have gratitude and compassion. And this is exactly what's required. Humanity has to regain its roots. And again, Maharishi was so ahead of his time. He talked about an age of enlightenment where people would reintegrate and reconnect with their nature, and that would create a vastly improved new age. But there would be a time of transition which would be troublesome, and this is what we're witnessing now. But we see a lot of positivity emerging. I see it in medicine with positive psychology instead of dealing with the horrible worries and anxieties. How do we create a perfect, healthy mindset? And introducing these concepts into schools, and introducing meditation into schools, and people getting worried about the planet. There's wonderful transitions we're going to witness over the next couple of years. They're already started.
Yeah, and the fact that we have so many people on listening about Ayurveda is one of the signs there. I tell you, I don't want to take up too much time talking, but I can tell you these changes. I have a friend, and he ran an abattoir. Rajvinder and Naheed probably don't know what an abattoir is, but anyway, it's where they slaughter animals, and so he was the most anti-vegan, anti-vegetarian, anti-any sort of ecological person you could meet. And I heard today, I met him, and he's told me he's gone vegetarian. So there's a big change from running an abattoir to going vegetarian. And the problem was he's suffering from arthritis. And of course, meat is the worst thing, it's very inflammatory, and he read, but he actually, not only did he read, he listened, and now he's making those changes. So yeah, hope springs eternal.
It's marvelous. This is wonderful. And this is a lesson for us all. Often the problems we suffer, the aches and pains, the headaches, the joint pains, they are not problems. They are only seem to be problems when we don't understand why. We have to have the ache, the pain, the stiffness, the lack of energy. And this is Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the knowledge that allows us to recognize this is what I'm doing wrong, and this is what I need to change. And that's how so many people on the chat lines and that are coming to these courses are transforming what was a big problem into a great motivator, and in consequence, an increasing balance and health. That's what we want.
Yeah, I mean, you explained it to me years ago. Like, the more you keep doing the wrong thing, the more the misery grows in your life, and the misery is the motivation to make the change. So it has a purpose. Eventually, you'll wake up to the thing. So so it's just a matter of waking up and then recognizing it and then making those changes. We haven't allowed Dr. Rajvinder or Dr. Naheed in there at all.
Oh, I shut up.
Yeah, no, me as well. So I'll shut up as well. So we'll let the ladies take over for a while. We'll have some of the feminine energy.
I take one question about, I have explained about the kapha disorder, and someone is saying that I am Vata, I'm still having some of the symptoms of kapha. So it doesn't matter what body type you are, you can have a disorder related to any other doshas. That's because that dosha goes out of balance, and kapha goes out of balance if you're not exercising properly. Like, maybe we are in lockdown, we are like mostly in sedentary lifestyle, we are eating more than usual, like heavy cold foods, or it's just because the change in season, like cold weather and spring season, they make your kapha goes out of balance. So if you are a vata, if you are a pitta, your kapha can go out of balance, and you can show symptoms of the imbalanced kapha. And you know now that how to balance that. So focus, work a lot, like do exercises, have warm water, include ginger in your diet, some warming spices in your diet, honey in your diet, that will help you to balance your kapha.
So somebody saying what the diet looks like, the change, the 15 days before the season. So that is called Read to Sunday, the change. So the kapha season start like from January onward. So we're just coming out of the Christmas season. A lot of presents of chocolate boxes at home or sweets, like Indian people have their sweets and all. So that's what where you stop anything heavy, because kapha, as I said, the digestive system gets weaker. So you need to take a break from all the heavy food like heavy meat or dairy products or heavy grains as well, and you go more on the vegetable and go more on the easy to digest maybe grains like quinoa, millets, things like that. So the grains, dairy and meat, that is more to be eaten in the winter time, because body need more extra fat to stay kind of warm. And as the weather start warming up, then you kind of start slowly get rid of this heavy food. And spring is more kapha, and spring gift us a lot of lovely vegetables, like we are talking about dandelion and other beautiful greens, and then the fruits. So diet is more like incorporate more lentils and easy to digest beans, not the heavy kidney beans or any of those. And then yeah, cut down on the rice and cut down on the wheat and meat as well. So yeah, mainly basically liquid day or light evening meals, so that your kapha naturally start getting balanced rather than aggravating.
I take one more question. About I get a cold very easily. What do you recommend to take a kapha balance? So of course, cough and cold is a kapha imbalance condition, but along with that, there can be certain allergic condition that that can weak your immunity system, and you get cough and cold very frequently. Along with that, maybe there is some problem with your digestion. You are not able to digest your food properly, and you are not making your tissues properly so that you can produce appropriate amount of ojas, and oja is the form of immunity in our body. So you need to focus on digesting your rama, by taking hot water and all the warming spices. And we will discuss in the digestion lesson like how you can balance your digestion as well. And of course, kapha balancing herbs and diet can also help you to get rid of cold, but try to strengthen your immunity and your digestive capacity.
I just noticed some of the questions are being answered. So if any of you see questions being answered by Mary Jane, just to let you know that Mary Jane is a qualified Ayurvedic practitioner. Just was reading the answers she was making to some questions. So her answers are really, really good, you know. I see sometimes people answering questions and I'm thinking maybe that's not 100% correct, but the ones that Mary Jane is answering, she's getting them all spot on. So she is actually a qualified Ayurvedic practitioner as well. I think she's living down in Westport, but I just see her answering some things there. So that's great. Thanks very much for that, Mary Jane.
And how to take Sitapaladi. I would take it in a little water or a little honey. I would take it on an empty stomach twice a day, 3/4 of a teaspoonful or a teaspoonful. If for a child, maybe half a teaspoonful, and we're thinking of Nabi, whose son is sneezing. And then Denise talks about arthritis and low back pain as a kapha problem. No, not necessarily. More vata, I would have thought. But you're thinking what herbs to take. Well, you certainly with the low back pain, I think, there's a lovely set of yoga postures that are helpful to that in a book called Mind Your Own Back by Steve Timms. That's something I would look at for my low back pains. It is a vata problem, so you want to do your oil massage and have your break at lunchtime. And if your back is very bad, take a lie down mid-afternoon to give it a rest for 10-15 minutes. But keep to a good routine and get enough rest. Similarly with the arthritis, well, you could certainly try the Joint Soothe tablets, the Joint Soothe MA4572, 2 tablets twice a day, which Noel will get back into stock soon. And yeah, so they're coming. Be
Oh,
patient.
they're here. They're in stock.
They're there. Okay,
They're back in stock.
So I think that will be certainly worth trying. 2 tablets twice a day after meals, and see if that helps. But if not, just come for a consultation, because arthritis is something that you can have. Sweet potato not suitable for cats. The hint is in the name, because sweet increases kapha, and so we want the pungent or the bitter or the astringent to balance kapha, but the sweet, sour, and salty increase the kapha.
Yeah, we did that today in the course, actually, so what increases vata, what increases pitta, what increases kapha, but then it actually gave the qualities of sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, astringent, and you could understand why they were increasing the different things. So it was quite interesting. Just one thing on Siddha Palati Churna and Trikatu as well. If it's your first time taking it, be careful, because especially if you're pitta, because I remember the first time I took Trikatu, I ended up blowing it all over the place because I wasn't expecting it to be so strong, and Siddha Palati Churna has a bit of a kick to it as well. So yeah, I think I take it with honey then, because it balances it out a little bit, but they are quite strong herbs,
Well, I'm tickled, because as I was talking about sorting out arthritis with Joint Soothe, Susmita was very busy printing, writing into the chat line, what could I suggest for arthritis?
There you are.
There you are. Great minds think alike, Susie.
There's a great webinar on arthritis. We have a great webinar on our website on arthritis. So actually, we have quite a lot of webinars on the arthritis that people should watch. And what we'll do is I'll give a voucher out for this course next week. I'll give you a voucher, and you can get all those webinars. You'll get 20% off all of them. That's the recorded ones, not the live ones, just the recorded ones. So we have arthritis, we've thyroid, we've women's health, we have cookery courses, and then we have a few more courses coming up now as well that'll be going on there as well,
No, we have a very important question for you to answer here.
Yeah, I see it there. I didn't know whether it was big ears or big egos.
People generally have big egos, Noel. Do they or do they not?
Yeah, I don't know if they have any bigger egos than anybody else, really. I would say they probably do. I would say pitta people you tend to pick things up really quick, and then you're wondering why other people are picking things up so slow. And then you think, like I'd walk into a place and I'd pick out the exits, I'd pick out this, I'd pick out that, and I'd be with someone who's kapha and they wouldn't know where to, but it's just different doshas. So whether that gives you a big ego or not, I'm not too sure. But yeah, so I don't know. What do you think, Dr. Brennan? Do pittas have big egos?
I think the pitta people are very intellectual. And so they judge, they discriminate. And so they would judge themselves as always right and everybody else is always wrong.
Oh, well, that's true.
That's where the big ego starts coming in, Noel.
Yeah, well, I tell you something. I've experienced life as an imbalanced pitta and a balanced pitta,
It was a good game. Asha asks 4572 tablets. It's 4572. Just 1, 2. Suitable for rheumatoid arthritis? Yes.
You're gone frozen there, Dr. Brannon, I think. Are you? Oh, no.
Oh, gosh, I just went silent and still.
Okay, very good.
Well done, Susie. Susie made some lovely changes and she feels very good. So that's great. Happy to hear that.
Wonderful.
Question.
Pardon?
No, I was reading the question.
Somebody saying, can dandelion be used in the raw form as well? Yeah, as I said, the tender leaves you can use in the raw form. And yeah, dandelion tea bags are available in the health stores. You can use them like that as well. Yeah, any form of dandelion is fine.
And she said she's very tired for 2 weeks.
She said she's vata, she's tired, what she can eat for breakfast. That's the one you're looking for?
That's the one.
Yeah.
You shoot ahead.
No, it's fine.
She's very vata, then, vatas are sensitive and they could easily get tired. So the first question obviously is, are you getting enough rest at night? And then are you Vata going out of balance because you're stressed and running around and under pressure, and so you want to actually have sit down, relaxed meals, and initially get that extra rest. In the afternoon, it can be very nice for Vata if you're tired, just to take a short break and rest up there. And but if that doesn't sort out with the extra rest, then just go and get your bloods checked or something, because you shouldn't be feeling so tired for so long. It could be you're just a little under the weather with a viral infection or something, and it'll pass. So, but take care of yourself is the answer to that, and then see how you go.
Try to eat a stewed apple or something very soft, like a liquid porridge or a stewed apple, probably with the ghee. Hopefully that will help as a light soothing breakfast.
Or maybe the
And I
oats
think
balls,
you're right.
the energy balls, they can give you a lot
What's
of
that?
energy. Like that's the mixture of nuts, raisins, and dates along with the ghee, and you just make all of them into very coarse fine powder form, and you make ball out of that, and that's filling also, and that gives you a lot of energy. So if you use that for like around a month or something, you feel more energized and kind of energy.
What were the ingredients again?
The ingredients were nuts,
Raisins.
raisins, dates,
Yeah.
and ghee.
Ghee.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
And for more taste, you can add maybe cardamom powder or maybe cinnamon powder. And seeds also can be used in that. Like if you're Vata, then sesame. Based on the body type, we can add seeds as well.
How often do you take them?
How many?
Yeah, like in a day. I mean,
Just a ball. I'll show you. I'll show you. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll show you.
oh,
Noel has a lovely chew mixture that is also very good for digestion and for Vata. Sesame seeds and cardamom fennel. That's also very good after eating, after your food, to let it food digest it.
yeah.
Actually, in most Indian restaurants,
look
you'll
at
see
that.
that bowl. Oh, there we are there. All right.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Jeekers. As in Zoom got some downsides because,
Can't eat them. Yeah.
no. That's
Just one. Like if you have two, you feel more full. Like I feel full if I have two. So I have one in the
how
breakfast.
often? How often do you have it? Like if that was Noel, it'd be one every hour.
No, it's
No,
just I have one in a day, not more
All
than
right.
that.
Okay.
Normally Indians have chai, which is the herbal drink, and milk and chai, this is called, and they take one of that type of ball, and that's their breakfast.
I'm definitely being born in India next life. That's it.
Yeah. You have to have a nice granny to make all those things throughout the winter. Your house will have
I'll choose a very good one.
laddus, flaxseed laddus, or fenugreek seed laddus, or like ginger laddus. So there's so many different
Yeah.
ones.
I'm just glad I finished my tea. I'd be dead listening to this otherwise.
Yeah. But they're mainly around the winter time because body needs that. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're probably getting to the end here. It's no harm in finishing a bit early. I've been on Zoom for 10 hours today nearly, I think we've answered a lot of the questions. Just to let you know about some things coming up. So tomorrow night, Friday night at 7 o'clock, Dr. Rajvinder is doing a detox cookery course. So you
But it is okay for
want to talk about it, Rajvinder, a bit. Just explain what you're going to be doing.
People were asking, oh, that's only for post-detox or kapha people. I am Vata, can I join? Yes, you can, because this is just extra recipes, simple, like low calories, you can say, or gluten-free. So I'm showing besan, which is ground flour chilla, that you can call chapati, like a pancake type, how to make it from ground flour. And that could be eaten with breakfast. And then a dosa from moong dal. So that's another use as a wrap, or just with the chutney or some of the things. And then there's a detox drink called Rasam. So that's a spicy one that's wonderful for kapha. People open up the lymphatic channels and all of that. And the Vata is in Pitta, they can make it in less spicy. And it's again very traditional drink people drink. And I think there is a pickle because somebody requested, I think, some of the webinars to show how to make Ayurveda pickle. And then there is, yeah, people were requesting about the dessert. So I'm showing millet pudding and carrot halwa. So just few recipes I picked, like I can show people after detox so that they can stay on the track because it's very good. I'm very impressed with the group. They're still following the guidelines. And some lady was telling me today she has lost 6 kilo so far, and it's really a great group going there, and they are still. So I thought, okay, I need to help them with more. So that's what. But other people can join too. That's
yeah. And the new people are doing the next detox course on the 29th. They can also join in that if they want. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Carrot halva is for everybody. Carrot halva is just gorgeous.
yeah, this is like a carrot.
I was planning to add carrot halwa for my webinar recipe. Now I need to think something else because you're all good to show that. So I have to think something else.
Oh, you can add that. Why not? You can talk about it. Then
you're already giving, so maybe something new for the
no
people.
harm to do it again. No harm to do it again. So the other, so that's, thanks very much for that, Dr. Ritvinder. So the other thing that's happening is then on Monday, Dr. Naheed is doing a very special webinar on ear, eyes, nose, throat, and skin. So everything above the neck, really, ear, eye, nose, throat. And so there'll be lots of tips about how to keep the mouth healthy, how to keep the nose healthy, the ears, the eyes. There's exercises. I was looking at the, Dr. Naheed sent me an overview of it, and it's just full of practical knowledge, you know. So I think that's a webinar that everybody should do. I mean, some people might not be interested in cooking, and that's fine, and some people are. But this particular webinar, I think, you know, that area is very important for everybody, absolutely everybody. And it's how to keep the mouth clean, and the use of Nasya, how do you use the Nasya, all of those things. And then also skincare based on your body type as well. So that's going to be at 7:30 on Monday. And
both will be recorded and up on the website now, won't they, after?
Well, they're only made available, initially they're only made available, anyone that books it. I mean, sometimes people book it, but they can't come on the day. So everybody that books it has access to it for a month. So and then eventually I get around to putting it up on the website for people to actually, you know, rent it as well. We never sell any of our webinars, we just rent them. So people will be able to rent them for a month as well. But that obviously will be the recording of it, you know. But so if you can't make Monday, but you'd like to do the webinar, still register for it, and then we'll send you the link out. And then maybe in a couple of weeks' time, we'll put it up on the website available as well, you know. But you know, you'll be there at the live event, so you'll have an opportunity to do Q&A if you're there live, you know.
Can I answer a few more? Is it best to soak nuts and seeds? Nuts should be soaked overnight. Seeds are better if they're milled, you know, you powder them in a coffee grinder, or you roast them. It just makes these things easier to digest. You get a lot more out of them. And your main dose should change at some point during your life. Muriel, your innate nature always stays the same, but you're always gathering. And then you can go a little bit out of balance, and then you restore the balance. So you do change throughout your life in terms of the degrees of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And yes, you're right. If you're overeating, inevitably you put on weight and increase your Kapha. So that's not a great idea. What sort of nuts are okay to add to food for Kapha? Kapha doesn't do so well with nuts because they're oily. So probably
Maybe almonds.
Pardon?
Almonds.
Almonds, you can use almonds for Kapha then. Great. They're very sattvic, great for the brains. And there was a question on epilepsy. Yeah, worth a consultation because there are strategies to balance Vata which could be helpful. It won't necessarily cure, like there are conditions that are incurable but manageable. It'll help the management of it.
Somebody put something in the chats now. I'm not too sure about this, Salim Abdel. I wouldn't advise anybody to download that. I don't know what that is. So I'd ask people not to put anything like that into the chat box, or I don't know what that is. I've no notion what that is. And I would suggest that people don't download it either. Just ignore it. So nobody put anything into it, like a download or a link to another website, or please don't do anything like that in the chat box, you know, unless you clear it with us first and we can see exactly what it is, you know. But so Salim, and apologies if I don't know what it is that you put in there, but I'm definitely not downloading it, and I wouldn't advise anybody else on the call to download it either, you know.
Because you don't know the source.
I don't know what it is. I don't know who Salim is, and I don't know how to use the public folder. I don't know what that is. So I don't want anybody putting any sort of a download. I'd be fair if you didn't promote other businesses or other things, because we don't know, we don't know what those things are. So the chats will just deal with the conversations that we're having here, you know.
There was a question again about the ingredients for Naheed's lovely ladus, and there was dates and raisins and nuts and seeds ground to a powder with maybe cardamom and cinnamon. Isn't that it, Naheed?
Ghee. And ghee.
See, I was listening.
Okay, I think we'll draw to an end. So thanks very much, everybody. So we have all those events coming on, and then next Tuesday we'll have our 5th lesson, which is the rhythms of nature. We've done Vata, Pitta, Kapha, so you have a good understanding of them. And now we're going to go into the cycles of nature, the circadian rhythms. These Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, there's different times of the day when Vata, Pitta, Kapha are lively, and there's different things we should be doing at different times of the day. And a good, healthy, natural rhythm, living in tune with in tune with nature and the rhythms of nature, again, is very important for good health. And we're going to cover all of that next Tuesday. As usual, I'll send the link out Tuesday morning. If you haven't got it by 1 o'clock, even though I didn't get a single email today, so everybody's finding their links, so that's great. But if you haven't found it, just send me an email, and hopefully we will see you on one of our courses over the weekend. But if not, we'll see you for the 5th lesson on Tuesday, you know. So thanks very much, Dr. Naheed, for coming on in India. You can go to bed now and rest up, and we'll see you Monday night. Thanks, Dr. Brennan. Thanks, Dr. Rajvinder.
Thank you all for all their lovely warm chats.
Yes, and have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.